Happy Father's Day, everyone. This is Jake along with Scott, and this is another episode of the Bourbon Lens. We're excited to have this episode brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's grooming. Don't forget, Father's Day is right around the corner. Use code Bourbon Lens at checkout for 20% off your order, plus free shipping. And this episode is all about the dads. We're excited to celebrate dads. Scott's a dad. I'm a dad. And for all the dads out there, cheers. And we are excited to talk about our Father's Day gift guide. As this drops, ladies, I know that you are not the biggest demographic of the Bourbon Lens, about 15% of you all. If you all have that special man in your life and he's got a kid, run to our Amazon gift guide or go to manscaped.com and use that code Bourbon Lens at checkout. Again, 20% off your order and free shipping. It's beautiful. So Scott, it's been a few weeks since we caught up. What's going on in the Dilly household?
What's going on with dad life?
Yeah, hashtag dadbot.
We've moved out of school season and into summer season, so the balancing act of finding something for my kid to do while not in school that isn't just watching TV all the time or iPad. So that's about it right now. Just trying to stay above water and balance life, work all the time, come home, dad, and try to enjoy the weekends here and there too. So
hashtag dadding, right? Like it's a verb. It's things that you do being a dad. So question. So you have a kiddo in daycare, and like who's my son's age. And then you have a kid that is going to be, I think, first grade next year?
Second grade. Turning 7 actually he's turning 7 on Father's Day. So June 19th, he's,
and
7 years old.
And shout out to Michael Burton, the estranged member of the Bourbon Lens. It's his birthday on Father's Day as well.
Yes.
So one kiddo's in daycare and the other one's going to be in second grade. Like, does he go back to daycare? How does that work? Like that, this is just something interesting for me to understand as a parent that only has a 2.5-year-old.
Well, we're kind of winging it this year because, with the global pandemic winding down, but still a lot of people working at home and balancing, being in office and things like that. So I'm trying to balance it where I can work from home a couple of days a week. He can stay home, play with, the neighbors and their kids and stuff like that. So, but then the other one gets shipped off to daycare just like normal. So yeah, just trying to find stuff for him to do. Like we're starting him into indoor soccer this summer. So he had a great spring season of outdoor soccer and regular soccer. So we're just trying to, find things to fill his time and, try to make it to vacation, which is in about a month from today. So looking forward to that, getting down to Florida and spending some time away.
Yeah. And, we're late to the vacation, grind. So we are looking for that beach vacation. Lauren looked at me the other day in front of my mom and was like, we need to go to the beach. And my mom's like, I'm in. I was like, oh, it must be nice to be retired. And so she was looking at Airbnb all during dinner tonight, trying to find that place for us to stay. And it's weird, right? When you have a kiddo that sleeps in a crib, he goes down so much earlier than the rest of everyone. Mm-hmm. So you have to have an exclusive room almost for that child.
Yep.
And that makes everything immensely more expensive right off the bat, because now you need 3 bedrooms instead of 2.
Yeah. Or a really, really big bedroom that's, away from everybody else. So you can just kind of sneak in there, when it's late and he's already been asleep for a few hours. But yeah, we're going with the grandparents and then the aunts and uncles. So I guess my brother and his wife. So we got a big house and that'll be fun.
What part of Florida y'all headed to?
So Miramar, which is on the Panhandle, pretty close to Destin and Pensacola, like that stretch there. We've never been there, so looking forward to it. And if anybody's got any tips on Miramar and the beach there and places to go or see, I'm not sure that there's a lot to see, because if you want to see a lot, you go to Pensacola or Destin, I guess.
Yeah. For sure. We were looking at Gulf Shores, and then we looked at beaches on the Atlantic. So Hilton Head, Folly, Isle of Palms, things like that. So we don't have a real big preference. I think the preference is if we're going to drive under 10 hours. So that puts everything on that like 65 strip straight down. And then if we go to the East Coast, that's a flight on like Breeze, Allegiant, Spirit, whatever cheap airline can get me there the fastest.
I guess you can get to parts of North Carolina in about 10 hours.
Yeah. So it's still a little bit of a haul. So we'll figure it out day by day.
Yeah, the 10-hour mark is kind of the threshold for us as well. It just seems it's still reasonable, but it's pretty far, with any amount of kids, any amount of a group of people trying to get down all at the same time. That's any longer and it's much, much more difficult.
Oh, 100%. Thinking of dad things going on. Have you seen the Paw Patrol movie?
Yeah, it was on Paramount?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've probably watched it 30,000 times.
So within the span of the last 2 weekends, I think we've watched it a total of 15 times.
Wow.
Yeah, it just runs in the background, like while he just goes nuts and like is like, he's like the Flash. He's like boom, 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 boom around the house. And you get that.
Speaking of the Flash, have you seen the new Sonic movie?
I've not.
Now we're turning into our friend's podcast, film and whiskey, but Sonic the Hedgehog, and they just came out with the second one. Also very good. I'm sure your son will like that in due time. He's probably a little bit
Knuckles
young for it, but
is in the new one, right? Knuckles and Tails.
Yes. Yeah, so they're in the second one is, I think it's a little bit better than the first, but
that's hard to do. But it still throws me off that Jim Carrey's Eggman, but whatever.
He's just a weird man.
He is. Side note, if you ever need a little bit of inspiration, go Google Jim Carrey's commencement speech that he did at this graduation. It is phenomenal. Like insane. So how good it is.
So he like breaks character of comedian and kind of just gets serious about it.
Serious about life. And like him and Denzel Washington also has a really good one. If you need inspiration, those two actors do a phenomenal job of commencement speeches, speaking of graduations that are happening right now.
It's a busy time, isn't it? Dang. A lot going on.
It is. I'm just speaking of like, I'm trying to graduate to potty training. Like that's where we are in life.
I don't envy you at all.
It's going okay.
That's the ultimate. That's the ultimate dad, especially when you got boys, teaching them how to not make a mess every single time they go anywhere.
Yeah. We're on the aim and shoot. We go play games like at like Main Event and Dave and Buster's. And so I teach him to aim there and then shoot the things that he's aiming at. And so then we just, take that lesson where I spent all my money teaching him how to aim and shoot things to the bathroom.
Yeah, translates well.
I need to get the clown thing that he loves. He loves throwing the balls at the clowns when you knock them over, like the carnival game.
There you go.
He loves that at Dave and Buster's and at Main Event. So, those are the things that are important. Speaking of just being a father, one of the coolest things is when they start talking and then they get these personalities. And so last week, Jameson switched rooms at daycare, and he just looked at me and then looked at his mom and was like, "Hey, can we do Boys Day?" And I'm like, "Boys Day." So this is Tuesday. I took off Friday. Like I had 2 meetings. I was like taking off.
Yeah.
And we went and got our haircuts and we went to Main Event and we had lunch with a couple friends. And then we went to the pool for a few hours. Like it's just so fun when they can look at you and be like, let's just go hang out.
Yeah.
Like that was the most like exciting thing as a newer dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to learn to love your child, right? You didn't carry that thing for 10 months. Like you didn't go through all that. That labor of love is a real thing.
And
like,
you're always
you're
always competing with mom.
Oh, 1,000%. And so when one of them asks you to hang out, like in your case, you have double, I only have single. When one of them asks you to hang out, or if your son asks you to hang out and you're like, yes, I would have done whatever. I would have moved mountains for that. So like that just makes me super appreciative as we speak, here talking about Father's Day. I thought about what I was going to get my dad, and what it meant to be a dad. It's just gets in your feels a little bit.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. I mean, my son's getting ready to turn 7. Whenever he was born, the next day was Father's Day, so it was like the first day he was here. It was like Happy Father's Day. So it was like, and you're learning on the fly. I'm like, I don't even know what Father's Day really means. I know, I hang out with my dad and stuff like that when I was, when I got older, but yeah, it's definitely a cool experience. And I think we're kind of lucky because we got boys, and I'm just a little bit partial to having boys because they seem like they're easier, but not when they're 2.
No.
Yeah. Full of attitude and a little bit of rage here and there, especially when they're not sleeping.
Oh yeah. Oh, and then they get ear infection and it's just all hell from there. Yeah. People say girls are tougher. Boys, it's like when you get a new dog, and this may not work for you because I know you don't have a dog, but like you got to break them, right? Eventually you have to show them who's boss. And so we are at the point like where we're starting to have to introduce discipline, and like we are trying to, spare the rod, spoil the child, not getting biblical here, but like, it's that idea. Like, you love them and you want to hug them and you want to tell them everything's okay and you want to give them the world, but that ain't how life works.
Yeah. You can't have everything they want.
Yeah.
You got to be the bearer of bad news every now and then.
Yeah, he wants Mickey ice cream quite often.
At breakfast, lunch, dinner, before bed. When he's laying in bed, he wants candy, and like, nah, just not the time.
He now has Lauren wrapped around his finger, and she gives him dry cereal before bed, like a little cup of dry cereal. He doesn't eat it; he just wants it next to his bed in case he wakes up.
And he's wanting a snack. That's how I feel sometimes too. Just wake up, I'm like, I'm not hungry.
That's the ultimate, like, he's going to be an offensive lineman thing I've ever seen in my life.
He needs food around him 24 hours a day.
Yeah. Yeah. But the funny thing is, like, my son's slowly turning into a vegetarian before my eyes too. Like, he just is not eating a ton of meat unless it's like Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets. Other than that, like, he'll eat broccoli, asparagus, squash, zucchini, avocado, apples, applesauce, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, like you name it, he'll eat it. He ate like
the proteins.
Third of a watermelon yesterday. We gave him a piece of steak. He was like, nah. We gave him some chicken tenders tonight. Had like 1 or 2. He loves yogurt, just crushes yogurt.
I guess there's worse things that they could
1,000%. Things I'm not mad about, but it's like, man, I offered you a filet mignon that I had like left over. It's going to warm it up in the skillet. It was going to be delicious. And you're like, nah, Dad, I want yogurt. And I'm like, okay.
He'll figure it out one of these days.
Oh, man. So we've been bantering for nearly 20 minutes. But the purpose of today, we've each come up with a gift guide. Mine is a little more around the house, maybe some bourbon things. And Scott's more bourbon oriented. So we're going to give you a nice wide variety of different things that you could get that special man in your life. And I'll just start off with my first one. And it was actually a gift I got for Easter. Like, my mom still gives me a little Easter basket, but it was a corksicle glass with the cigar holder. So on that hot night, and you don't want to hold the stogie and hold your glass, you can put your stogie inside of the corksicle glass and then have that and, enjoy your beverage, and you can have a free hand to, make sure you can wrangle your kid or,
when table space is limited, that is very helpful. Cause, we just dealt with this, a week or 2 ago.
Yeah.
You don't have the little tables everywhere, and you got ashtray, you got lighter, you got glass, you got bottle of booze.
Yeah, and we couldn't find the lighter like 10 times, but we found it before we left.
Yeah, start using matches.
Lighter, butane lighter also would go with that one. So just go buy you a nice butane lighter, and then you can light your
That is a hell of an investment too. Like $20, $30. Like, you're like, I just use a Bic lighter. No, you can't. You shouldn't. Whatever. I mean, some cigars, snobs will say you shouldn't at all, but If you had to, you could. But yeah, invest in a nice butane lighter.
And you don't burn your finger.
Exactly. That's something you don't think about. Like, yeah.
Burning the tip of your thumb
while
on a
holding,
big lighter is just...
Yeah, while holding the damn thing and it gets rocket hot. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my one thing. Just don't. All right. So, Scott, give us that first gift that you would recommend.
Yeah, so this is like bourbon adjacent, but if you listen to our podcast, I think it was episode 97. It was like a year and a half ago. It was with Wright Thompson, the writer. He's been on ESPN, and the name of the show slips my mind. South something.
I don't know. He's just a really well-known writer at this point. Like, I feel like Wright's everywhere. He writes for ESPN, like you mentioned, and like they sent him to the Derby, and like was ESPN's coverage was Wright Thompson at the Derby,
and that's what kind of started this gift idea. But Pappyland is his book, and it's all about the story of Julian Van Winkle and Pappy Van Winkle and the development of that brand, and his views on fatherhood and creating a legacy and having something to pass down to your family, as you get older. That book, I read it in anticipation of the interview in the podcast, and it was probably one of the best books I'd read in the past several years. It was just impactful, I guess you could say. And I went into it thinking it was just going to be about some $1,000 15-year-old bourbon, something that was just overpriced and all that stuff, but it was about so much more than just a bottle of booze. Yeah,
I'm not the best reader in the world, just from like a speed perspective, and I blew through that book really quick.
Yeah. If you're looking for something for a dad, that's a perfect gift because it kind of puts things in perspective from, one man's perspective, who's a father, newer father, and thought it was really good.
Yeah. So moving on to my next one. Speaking of Scott, Scott came over, and I think one of the best things that you can do is gather around a campfire. And people say it's hot in the summer. Yeah, it is hot, but like, got to keep the bugs away. Got to find an alternative light source. And a fire is great, especially when you lose a tree to a storm and you have a bunch of cedar. You got to burn it. So a solo stove. So some people might say that's expensive. I'll tell you what, it's one of the best investments I've ever made. I've probably made 15 fires already this season, like starting from May to now. And it's been awesome. If I could redo it, I'd get the biggest one, me personally. So because I just have bigger pieces of wood, but it's awesome. Like, we'll sit outside for 3, 4, 5 hours, just like hanging out and enjoying a fire and conversation. So one of the big things for like me and my family and me and my wife in particular is just intentional time together in the evenings. And we've just spent a lot of that intentional time in the evenings around a campfire. And so it's a great way to, build that camaraderie and relationships with those people around you that you love.
I think that's a perfect gift. I know that over the past couple of years where people are staying home a lot more, I mean, fire pits are probably just soared in popularity, as they should. People are looking for something to do doesn't require you to go out. It's outdoors. It's much easier to do, and just got to find a good wood source. And if you have a tree that falls down on your fence and you've got a chainsaw and you can cut it up, then you've got fuel for the whole summer, right? Or
it's a win-win.
Whenever. Yeah.
But for me, now I got to go get an axe because I need to cut some wood. I need to split some wood. Or
you just need to find a friend that has a wood splitter. Just be like, hey, just back that thing up right up in the backyard. Just split all this wood for me. I'm going to be good for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Oh, 1,000%. You saw the wood pile.
You're not Paul Bunyan.
No, I can't just take, grab it in the middle and
split
it apart.
Split trees. No, that's a good one.
I've seen some videos of people doing that. I don't believe they're real because I tried to split a piece of wood that was like halfway broken. And I feel like I'm a pretty decently big and strong individual. Didn't budge.
It's like trying to rip phone books. Just can't do it.
Nope.
I guess I'll go into my next one. And this kind of works with your theme. I know I've been using the shit out of my Yeti lowball tumbler.
Mm.
I'll fill it up, a third of the way, I think it's like 3-4 ounces probably. I think they're 10 ounces maybe. Fill it up, go outside, sit outside for a couple hours, get refilled too. But yeah, I mean, that's probably my most used whiskey accessory over the past like few weeks, just, sitting outside and stuff like that. So I think they're like $20-$25. Not too bad.
Yeah. No, they're not super pricey. And another Yeti accessory that you could use is the Yeti can holder if you are a beer person. I think those are some of the better can holders, and they're like $12-$14, and I think they're great. But this is a bourbon podcast, so we'll stay away from the beer.
Unless you're doing a Boilermaker. Yeah,
just
not good.
Sounds miserable. Sounds like a start of an epic night, but a terrible morning.
That's usually how they start. Yeah.
So my next one is, I didn't mention this in our pre-show meeting, grilling equipment. You always need a pair of fresh tongs. You got to make sure you click them twice to make sure they work in all facets. But like sometimes they just get grimy and you just need new ones because those things are a bear and a half to clean. So that would be my thing. Just a nice new set of tongs, spatula, and maybe some skewers. So you can, put some shrimp on the Barbie if you want, or, some sauteed vegetables.
That's good. And I saw that the Solo stove comes with cast iron.
Fire poker.
Yeah. Well, it comes with the cast iron top. You can turn it into a cooktop. There you go.
Well, you saw the flame that I had.
Yeah, I wouldn't have put a griddle on top of that, but I think this.
It would have been flame broiled.
Yeah, I think the flame is supposed to be contained within the Solo stove.
Not when Jake's building a fire.
Yeah. Is that your Boy Scout 101? Did you get your fire starting badge?
Actually, I do have a flint, and I could start a fire that way. I got really into camping a few years ago, and I have all the equipment, and I've started 2 or 3 fires with a flint, but it's not as easy as people make it look.
It's not as easy as grabbing the butane lighter and just lighting some shit on fire.
Exactly.
Well, I guess I'll
Yeah,
continue.
you're up.
So my next idea, perfect for going to a buddy's house, taking some new whiskeys. Maybe you don't want to wrangle a bunch of expensive bottles if you had them. You don't want to drop your Blantons and have the horse topper fall off or something. So you can pour 4 samples into the Aged and Ore bottle flight, which I talked about a couple podcasts ago, I guess now. But it's that case that comes with 4 glass bottles that are wrapped in like silicone to protect them from getting banged around or beat around. But it's TSA, the TSA 3-ounce size, and perfect for just a quick tasting, I guess, with like a buddy. You don't want to take 4 expensive bottles, pour some samples, look like a cheap ass, just bring a few ounces of each, and swap. I mean, here's the best thing you probably do. Get one for your buddy, get one for yourself, and then just have a swap every, once a week, something like that.
So you're telling me that's what the Bourbon Lens needs to do.
That's what we need to do. That's what we need. But we've also invested in 2-ounce sample bottles that
very heavily
that fill up our sinks frequently.
We are now part owners of 2-ounce sample bottles and all the different brands on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
That was our investment for 2021. And that's, thank you for all your patronage, everyone. No, but in all seriousness, just continuing down this path, I think we wouldn't be the Bourbon Lens unless we said, go out to sharedport.com and check out our barrel picks that we have available. 2-day shipping, still got plenty of time to get them there. We have Sauternes finished broken barrel. Yeah. And we have some other cool stuff coming down the pipe, but we got to get these gone for Father's Day gifts.
Perfect.
But speaking of, if you're going to get someone a nice bottle of bourbon, shouldn't they get a nice bourbon glass to go with that?
I got the perfect one.
Yeah.
Hey, you do too.
You do too. I do. It's dirty. I got to wash it.
Yeah. Well, other than this Yeti one that I've been using like outside, this is probably my most used whiskey glass right now. But it's the Whiskey Wisdom American whiskey glass. It's that super heavy base. Every time I post a picture about it on Instagram, it's people just comment like, "Ooh, need that glass. Ooh, really like that glass. Where is that glass from?" Even though I put it in the description on every picture. Just read the caption. That's all you got to do. But yeah, we've also got an affiliate link in the show notes and in our link tree and stuff like that. But check that out because you get 2. It looks like it only comes with 1, but it's definitely 2 glasses. Super nice set. And it kind of could replace your Glencairn. Like if you don't want to feel dainty, like have a Glencairn glass, hold it with your pinky out and stuff like that. Get this one and super nice. Best of all, there's a coupon code. If you use the code BourbonLens, you'll get 10% off your purchase at Whiskey Wisdom.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. It's the most weighty glass that I have, and I like that. It is my favorite tasting glass, but my favorite glass. And if you are interested, you can email us or you can shoot us a note on Instagram, and we have some Bourbon Lens Libby glasses that we have available. Let's call them $15. You can shoot us a note. We have Venmo at Bourbon Lens, and you can grab a bottle or grab a glass, not a bottle. But you can go to sharedport.com and grab the bottle and grab your glass.
And then you got the full set, right?
Yeah. And last but not least, I wouldn't be doing us any favors if I didn't say the last gift that everyone should be getting, which is Manscaped. Go and buy their premier package, right? The 4.0 kit. The Lawnmower 4.0 is amazing, but I have to say it every time. It's not the nose hair trimmer does it for me. It's the reviving cream and the ball toner. It's out of this world. Again, code BourbonLens at checkout, 20% off and free shipping. That is the gift for Father's Day. And I have to say, I got one for my dad. I'm interested to see how he takes it, but I'm excited that he gets to get that. And I also got him the body wash. I couldn't just slap him in the face and say, "Hey, you need to groom up, buddy." I had to, get him something that he also would use on a daily basis.
Well, I mean, it helps you smell good, helps you feel good, and it's definitely worth the purchase. I think I've recommended it to numerous people, and a lot of them have come back and said, "Oh yeah, I use that. I've got that," because people don't talk about it. But
yeah,
it's like, well, there you go.
Yeah, and the old adage: look good, feel good, play good, do good, whatever. Right. So, you're going to feel as best about yourself if you're in the best version of yourself. And I think Manscaped helps you get there in a great way. And it's helped me prepare this dad bod for summer.
It is summer, and I'm ready for the.
And it is hot.
Yeah, that's true. So I think that's pretty much all the gift ideas I have. I probably had a couple more that I could throw together. Maybe I'll throw them in the show notes, or I got it. I'll just put them in the Amazon wish list, and then people will see them there. So just click that button, and we'll get a small kickback, nothing huge, but if you use our link, you help support us.
Yeah, go out and check that out. I think it's really cool. Scott does a great job curating that for us. And I think what's really great about this is we'd love to hear what your favorite gift ideas are, as dads or as wives or baby mamas who are out there, buying gifts for those special men in your lives, because we want to help curate the list for years to come. This isn't just a one-time deal, because, you have other things, birthdays, Christmas, and Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. You have all these opportunities that you can gift. And this is just helping us build that guide so people can come to the Bourbon Lens and be like, hey, that's a really good Amazon wish list. So I'm going to ask you this one last question, Scott. What is your best Father's Day gift you've ever received?
Oh my goodness. Gosh, you're going to have to give me a second to think about that. Yeah. So it definitely would have to be the year that my wife surprised me and a buddy, both of us dads, with a Father's Day trip to Gatlinburg. Didn't tell us anything about it. Just said, hey, make sure you're free to go and clear with your plans for this weekend. And I didn't know that my buddy was coming as well. It was, I think Liam was 2, 3 maybe. So it was 3 or 4 years ago. Went down to Gatlinburg, got a big cabin, and that was like the best. It was with the people that I wanted to be with, my kid, my wife, my friend, and his kids. And that's probably tops. But that's when wives do things in secret, they both plan that for us without telling each other or without telling us, so we wouldn't spoil the surprise. But yeah, that's definitely got to be it. What about you?
That's a big gift. At this point, I think we're 2 years in. This is year 3 of this. 2 years ago we moved into this house, so I would say my wife allowing me to buy a bottle of Wild Turkey 17 bottled in bond was a really nice gesture, because I had to call her and get approval for that. Mm-hmm. And that was Father's Day weekend. So I'm going to say that she allowed me to buy Wild Turkey 17 bottled in bond, which is one of like my favorite bourbons I've ever drank.
I was going to say top 5 for me.
Yeah, I mean, it thing's wild good.
Yeah, and it's just a cool bottle to begin with. It's so rare, and it was obviously a limited release, but bourbon's always a great gift. So if you're looking for just something, you can't go wrong with that. If the person you're buying for likes whiskey, which if you're listening to this podcast, hopefully they do. So
yeah.
If you haven't convinced 100%. them yet, you need to get better at what you're doing, right?
Yeah. Well, if you're listening to this podcast and you're not a bourbon drinker, I really want to know why you're listening. So please drop us a line.
It's because we're so damn good looking, and this is an audio podcast.
Yes, I have a face for radio. Well, we're super excited about this. Celebrate your dads, celebrate your moms all throughout the year. This is just one good excuse to fire up the grill, have a good steak or a hot dog or a hamburger, and get people together. That's what I think Father's Day and Mother's Day should be all about. It's about the meal. It's about the camaraderie. And if you want to spend a little money, we've curated a guide here for you that you can use. And we're super excited about that. And we're super excited about this the rest of the summer. We've got some really cool things planned, and we may be starstruck. We're working on something that I'm not going to lie to you. If it comes through, like I think it will, I'm going to have to just pick my jaw up off the ground when that person joins the Zoom. So more to come on that as we go down through the summer. But I'm super excited about this. And don't forget, our second episode of Off Hours with Bourbon Lens will be this week. It'll come out on Wednesday, so you'll get another podcast in your feed. And we're really excited about that partnership with Off Hours and doing something a little bit different, telling the story behind bourbon and whiskey. So thanks again for listening to another episode of The Bourbon Lens. We really appreciate your support. If you can go give us a 5-star review and a like and a follow on your favorite podcast listening app, we would be greatly appreciative of that. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Bourbon Lens. And as always, you can drop us a line at our Gmail, thebourbonlens@gmail.com. And you would be surprised. We've got a lot of emails lately from our fans, and we're super excited about that. And lastly, if you want to head over to patreon.com/bourbonlens. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up. We got some tastings, and we got some exclusive hangouts where we just want to get together and know our fans and our group of people that interact with us on a daily basis a little bit more. So really appreciate everyone for listening to this episode. And until next time, cheers.
Cheers.